Welcome back. Tonight, the Biden administration caved into the fears of the left on the nation's migrant asylum crisis. President Biden chose to keep 15,000-person cap on refugees entering the U.S., but that wasn't good enough for AOC, who tweeted, quote, utterly unacceptable, holding the xenophobic and racist policies of the Trump administration. But after that, the administration changed course, releasing a statement tonight, reading, we expect the president to set a final increased refugee cap for the remainder of the fiscal year by May 15th. Here now, Kayleigh McEnany, former White House press secretary and a Fox News analyst. Kayleigh, is this how we're going to run the country now? Every time AOC decides to throw a temper tantrum and go on Twitter, then we're just going to cave our foreign policy to that, right?
Lawrence, that's exactly what we're seeing here with this. This is a government run by progressives. I said in the campaign, look, if Biden prevails, he is an empty vessel who will be totally driven by the radical left progressive wing of the party. And that's exactly what we're seeing. And also worth mentioning here is just the totally muddled message from the White House. Literally last week, Jen Psaki tells us that he's going to raise the cap. Then this week, today, he comes out and says the low cap remains justified by humanitarian concerns. Then we get an AOC tweet, and voila, here we are raising the cap once more. It's amazing. It's not a way to govern. Also a lesson in very poor messaging.
Yeah, so we got the AOC and the radical progressive, but I think it goes to the root cause of this, that they keep changing the policy when it comes to refugees, and they want to have legal immigration reform done, but they don't want to get control of the border first. Aren't they making the same mistake over and over again?
Yes, I think it's a great point. You know, of course, we remember from the White House podium when we were told all children are going to be accepted into the interior of the country. And there we go. All of a sudden, you have an influx of unaccompanied minors to the border. Now, what message does this send? All children are welcome. We will raise our asylum, our refugee cap, and we will welcome that as well. It's sending a message, setting a magnet, they call it a pull factor, to bring these illegal immigrants in. In this case, they would be legal immigrants, but just raising this number is another way that they're putting fuel on the fire. And one more point, just in this two-question press conference, what a joke, his second press conference, the two-question press conference, not a single reporter thought to ask about this refugee cap situation.
I got to get your comment on this. There was a lot of talk about bounties put on U.S. soldiers. You addressed this back in the day at the White House. I want to play this and then get your reaction on it.
The front page of the New York Times is not the venue for discussing classified information. This is a piece of intelligence information that had no consensus, has not been verified, still to this day has not been verified.
Now, they changed course today. They said some of the intelligence was wrong. I'm just going to call it a flat-out lie.
It was a flat-out lie by the New York Times, by CNN, by MSNBC, by the Washington Post, who had the audacity to call Trump a liar over it when, in fact, they were the ones corroborating a report and lying. And for a month, more than that even, I fielded questions about this from the podium, having to talk about raw intelligence from the White House podium, see it on the cover of the New York Times. It is an absolute travesty. And still, they're not coming out and apologizing. They owe President Trump and the entire administration at least that.
Yeah. I won't hold my breath for an apology because they never do. They just continue to lie, and we continue to allow them to get away with it. It's sad. Thank you, Kayleigh.
Thanks, Lawrence.